high alert, move on silver before withdrawals freeze. This starts first week of the month, and over the next few months, we're going to experience a massive liquidity crisis unimaginable. People are going to be running to get their money out, but the funds are going to say too late. I'm going to break this down for you and show that the first sign of pain will be when investors try to get their money out, but they can't. This is from Bloomberg, and it says, Starwood's $10 billion REIT, that's Real Estate Investment Trust, turns to survival mode as real estate pain lingers. We've seen this coming at us full force, but the way it's hitting is really worse than expected. This article starts with redemption requests mounting and just $752 million in available liquidity at the end of April. That is nothing. $752 million available liquidity. Let's keep going. That just shocks me to even say that number. Let's keep going. The clock was ticking for SREIT to make a move. The new restrictions, which cap monthly withdrawals at 0.33% of net asset value, which would have been about $33 million in April, are much more narrow than the previous 2% limit. Starwood will cut its management fees while the measures are in place, which the firm expects will be 6 to 12 months. So this is hitting now. We've seen the issue of commercial real estate rearing its head, and this is the first time where we're really seeing these investors start to shake. They're trying to get their money out, but they're already being limited because the cash is not there. That's really what this is coming down to. The cash is not there for them to take out. Let's keep going. This says, this was a very hard decision to make, but having managed through 6 major downturns over our 30-year history, we believe we're making the best decision for all shareholders. This is Sternlick, 63. He said this in an email statement. We anticipate the real estate markets are bottoming and will continue to improve from here, so further leveraging the vehicle or selling our portfolio's assets to meet monthly redemptions would negatively impact all investors. That's why they're putting this strict cap on how much investors can pull. And the cap is way worse, as this article said at the top of this video. 2% was tough enough, but now the cap is even more tight and more shaking. Let's keep going. This says, SREIT's move is the latest indication that commercial real estate woes are far from over. That's an understatement. They're really just hitting. One measure of value was down 21% in April from the peak in March 2022, before the Federal Reserve started rapidly hiking rates. The article says property owners responded by seeking loan extensions or cobbling together other liquidity plans in a time-honored real estate strategy called extend and pretend. I've talked about that a lot on this channel. They're pretending that there is not a time bomb set to explode in these products. The article says, but the recent pushback in rate cut expectations means that investors such as Sternlicht are having to write new chapters to the industry playbook. So as this real estate nightmare starts to really blow up, we have to look at what we're seeing for the price of silver, because silver has been rising and rising, but it seems to have topped out and is now starting to correct. What's going on with commercial real estate, this is one of the key factors that will make silver correct, because people will either they'll put their money into the tangible asset of real estate, or they'll put it into precious metals like silver. Let's continue. This article says the pain, meanwhile, continues to ripple out. Investors in top-rated bonds backed by commercial real estate debt are getting hit with losses for the first time since financial crisis. A Los Angeles landlord sold the city's third tallest office tower for 45% less than its price about a decade ago. 45% less. Oh my gosh. That is a massive hit. That is something that I'm sure these investors never saw coming. This article says there's plenty of dry powder to purchase real estate, but much of it remains on the sidelines as bid-ask spreads remain elevated. The sign of market not functioning properly. And we've actually seen this in the housing market, with the spread between what the value really is of homes compared to what they're going to sell for. And when I say sell for, I say that with a wink and a nod, because nobody's going in to buy houses these days, with the mortgage rate still up at 8% for a 30-year mortgage. First-time home buyers cannot go in on that. This is also from Bloomberg, and this says losses pile up in top-rated bonds backed by commercial real estate debt. This is another article highlighting what's going on with commercial real estate. And this says bonds backed by single mortgages and tied to older office buildings dominated by an anchor tenant like 1740 Broadway, that's in Manhattan, are especially vulnerable, they say. Some analysts are already predicting further losses as more loans get sold for a fraction of their former value. These banks, these regional banks that hold these loans, are trying to really literally dump them and get rid of them. This article says, to be clear, no one is predicting a repeat of 2008, when bad mortgages, mostly residential, nearly brought down the financial system. Yet the risk isn't simply confined to a handful of underperforming buildings either. This is across the board. The share of delinquent office loans packaged into a common type of commercial mortgage-backed security reached 6.4% in April, the highest since June 2018, according to a report by Moody's Ratings of that month. So this isn't just a couple of buildings struggling in Midtown Manhattan or Los Angeles or any of these major cities. Every major city that you could think of, they're all seeing this hit on commercial real estate, and it shakes everything. So when we look at our price of silver, and as people pull out of real estate, which many people have their 20% nest egg ready to purchase their home, but they're not purchasing it. And what they do is they go into precious metals because they want a safe store of wealth. They want a tangible asset. And that is going to make silver go up and up, because this is not going to clear out quickly. This issue with an 8% mortgage rate on 30-year mortgages, this is not going to clear up in a couple of weeks. And as this rolls out over the next months, with the issue of real estate investment trusts, as this really plays out, we're going to absolutely see this impact our price of silver. The issue of real estate investment trusts, as this really plays out, we're going to absolutely see this impact our price of silver.